Traditional banks like the Wells Fargos of the world taking your and my deposits in the bank and risking it all by putting that money in shadow banks for greater results? Well, isn't there a law that should be preventing this? Surprisingly, there is no such law. And what I'm going to show you by way of an infographic is going to shock you and shake you to the core. And I'm also going to give you some suggestions on how to get from under this rock. A small request, as always, to please like this video, and if you have not already subscribed to our channel, do subscribe to our channel. Here we go. Who was Parasurama, who led a life of devotion, dedication, and daring? Why did he take birth on the earth? Was it to eradicate corrupt Kshatriya rulers who had become tyrannical and oppressive, or was it to bestow daya for the needy? So there is a shadow loop after all. The taxpayer money is funding risky bets. Remember I told you shadow banking had a big victim recently, Renovo, and that's what 2 days ago. And now I think more and more things are going to start falling out. I'm afraid you need to act like right now. I'm just going to give you my inputs on what I would do if I were you, and just listen to this till the very end. Your deposit money into a traditional bank such as Chase or Wells Fargo is FDIC insured to the extent of $250,000 per account. And this money is safe because the Fed will step in case if it goes bad and the shadow bank that they have put their money into loses it all. But let's take a look at what happens if a lot of money is lost. Will then the government say that, look, you are not going to be just getting the insurance, but you'll also have to bail in, meaning take a cut, 10%, 20%, 50%. Why should we? It wasn't our fault. We didn't tell the traditional banks, the Wells Fargos of the world, to go put their money in shadow banks. I would like somebody who's working in shadow banking and also in traditional banks such as Chase or Wells Fargo to reply by way of comments that this is not true. I would really like to know, because I have proof by way of reference links that tells that this is indeed happening, which means all of us are six-letter word. You know what I'm talking about. Well, step two, what happens to boost profits? The banks lend billions to shadow banks. These are hedge funds, private equity, and fintechs that are not regulated by normal banks. And you can say, how the hell is this possible? Well, there is nothing that prevents the traditional banks from doing this. Shadow banks are using this borrowed money to make high risk bets. I told you about this. They buy risky corporate debt and leverage assets in ways traditional banks cannot legally do directly. Well, if they are allowed to give money to these shadow banks, then how is it that you are preventing the traditional banks from doing what they are not supposed to be doing? They are indeed doing what they are not supposed to be doing. I mean, somebody set me right on this one, right? How the F are so many people, so many PhDs from so many Ivy Leagues just sitting around twiddling their thumbs saying that all is well? I would really like to know. Anyway, when the crash comes, like for example in 2008 or 2023, the Silicon Valley Bank crash that happened in 2023, the shadow bank collapses. Because they are in the shadows, they have no safety net. What is the cost when all this happens? When shadow banks default, traditional banks lose billions. If the loss is too big, the government may bail out the bank to save insured deposits. Taxpayers still pay the price, because what then happens is your government, doesn't matter which of the two big parties are in power, they end up taking money by printing it from one place and moving it into all these banks and make them whole, and life continues on. For a few days, people like me will making a lot of noise about how this is a damn waste of taxpayer money, but life just goes on. I'm hoping that this will open the eyes of everybody, and that the banks, the traditional banks, you have to, it is your responsibility to state where all you have put your money, in which shadow bank you have put your money, and how quickly can you take that out. I told you, right, that I'll tell you a way out. First of all, if you happen to have more than 250,000 in any one of your accounts, savings or checking or whatever, I would advise you open another account in the same bank and split it up such that no account has more than $250,000. But then if you are a multimillionaire, if you are a billionaire, this may not be possible. So I think you will have to figure out something on your own, that the number of such people are much, much lesser than the typical middle class people such as you and I. And we all have worked very hard to, do our savings because we wanted to keep that money for our children, for our own retirement, to enjoy life during our golden years. So this is the advice I would give immediately. The other thing you may want to do is to diversify your portfolio. By that, I mean buy commodities. If you think gold is too expensive, look at platinum, look at silver. You think that you can, but you will have to have a good place to store it, and don't put it in a bank locker. You'll have to store it within your own house. Make sure that you have a good, safe armoire. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar. Remember, I'm not a banker. I'm not a stock advisor. I'm not a nobody. I'm just a common sense person. I'm just telling you, this is what I would do if I were you. Namaskar.